Hey everyone, my name is Nevin K. I'm here with the Resist Trump campaign, and we are about to get started. So welcome. I have a nice little presentation that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm here joined with a few guests tonight. Uh, we've got Jimmy Flanagan, who's with us today. He is a board director with our parent entity, Human Liberty Project. We have Aaron and Tracy, who are campaign volunteers. And we also have several more campaign volunteers that decided to join after we created this graphic. So they're not on the graphic that I'm sharing right now, but they will be joining us in the meeting in a few minutes. So welcome everyone. You should be able to type in the chat. Um, I see that there's a lot of interesting things going on in the chat. Jay, if you could take care of some of those interesting things going on, we'll just keep moving. So yeah, I mean, as we get started, feel free to, here, let me see if I can take care of myself. Um, Feel free to, report and remove. Okay, I've just removed Charleston White. Does anyone want to type in the chat if they can to see if they can say hello? Hi. Hello, everyone. Make sure that when you're typing in the chat, you're typing to everyone, just if you want everyone to see you. Otherwise, it might just go to hosts and panelists. Hi, Brad from Chicago. Hello, Deanna from Gresham. All right, here we go. So one thing we wanted to just ask you, like just as like a starter question, was like, what principles would you follow to design a nonviolent civil resistance campaign? So feel free to take, a couple minutes to think about it. Um, and let's see. Yeah, please respond to that prompt, and you should be able to go. So I'm gonna make Jay. Nope, I can't make Jay a host or co-host. Sorry about that, Jay. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. So yeah, like what principles would you follow to design a nonviolent civil resistance campaign? You can just say the same ones the Resist Trump campaign is following. That's fine. That's allowed. That's allowed. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. As you get involved in the movement, right? You might be designing your own campaigns for groups like this, groups that are more regional, whatever. We want to help you kind of become the activist that you were meant to be. So do consider that. We're going to keep moving, and I'm just going to give you kind of a preview of what to expect for today. So we're going to be joined with, sorry, we're going to be uh, graced by the presence of my good friend and colleague Jimmy Flanagan, who is a fighter, who is a leader, and who is a good person, if I may say so. After that, we have a few things on our agenda. After Jimmy shares a few remarks, we're going to talk a little bit about how the Resist Trump campaign kind of meets this moment. A little spotlight on one of our projects, kind of that has come out of the campaign. We'll talk a little bit about what we've achieved or what we believe we've achieved. We'll take your questions, and then we'll just talk about like what you can do now. And I'll offer some closing remarks, and then we'll share some contact information. So that's kind of the plan. Jimmy, it is now the floor is now yours.
All right, Nevin, thank you for the brief introduction. Um, my name is Jimmy Flanagan. I was on the Austin City Council from 2017 to 2020. I was the first openly gay man to serve on the Austin City Council. Still, I guess, the only openly gay man to ever serve on the Austin City Council. And my first term there coincided with Trump's first term. So I got to experience on the inside the what has ended up being the milquetoast version of fascism that we survived. Some of us, not all of us survived because it ended in 2020. But now what we are seeing today is so much shockingly worse. And if you're on this webinar and you're not the jerk wagon who was blowing up our chat with nonsense, then you already know. You're seeing it, you're watching it. And you're on this town hall because you know that we need to keep going and we need to keep fighting and we need to do more. But the stories that have inspired me are the people that I've met in my orbit who, prior to 2024, did not know anything about politics, somehow managed to make it through a pandemic learning nothing, finding ways that their personal privilege or their personal life struggle separated them from the reality of the policymaking and the power dynamics that are leading to this edge of destruction for our democracy and our liberal society. The actions that I've seen happen, the protest actions, particularly the ones that aren't specifically about Trump, are the ones that are reaching new people. The protests that I've participated in myself related to Tesla and Elon Musk reached all sorts of folks that had kind of checked out on Trump. They had felt that, well, you know, that's so much noise and it's so gross and it's like every week there's a new thing. Part of the genius of the Resist Trump movement is that it is not just about Trump. It is these pillars of power and the systems and programs that underpin authoritarianism that we are going after one by one. That is powerful and effective, and most critically, in my opinion, it reaches new voices. It reaches voters who had checked out, who aren't paying attention. And it doesn't take a data scientist to look at the difference between the 2020 and the 2024 presidential election to know that it was mostly people checking out is what led to a return of Trump. It wasn't people suddenly believing him. It was folks who had lost something to believe in at all. And by shining a light on Elon Musk, he has been conspicuously absent from the narrative, I find. And being in Austin like I am, I mean, he's right here. And still, you're not hearing as much about this guy as you were 4 months ago. Funny how that works. His influence has waned. And as this campaign's effort ramps up and more people feel the pain of associating with Trump, the more likely it is that we will win and we will undermine this descent into fascism. That's what inspires me. That's why I'm so proud to have joined the board with Nevin and to push Human Liberty Project forward and our programs like Resist Trump. That's how we're going to survive. We're starting to see the first steps of that in some special elections across the country where, shocker, the Trump citing candidate loses. I don't even think you could talk party anymore. It's not even about party. It's are you standing with the fascist or are you opposing the fascist? That's the bottom line. And that's not partisan, that's just survival. And I think maybe the little cherry on top this week is seeing our efforts recognized on the floor of the Senate from the right, accusing us of the most heinous acts as you can possibly imagine. What we're doing, what Human Liberty Project is doing, what Resist Trump is doing, with all the partners that are participating in launching the No Kings Protest 2 this weekend, it's working and it's reaching the people in power and it's creating fear in the fascists. And that is the thing you have to do. We all know that on this call. These fascists only respond when you hit back harder than they've come for you. That is what we're doing. It also means you have to make fun of them. You have to crack jokes. There has to be camp and farce. And we're doing all that stuff too. It's a very dangerous time. It's a very precipitous time for the future of the world. And I think the work that we're doing with Human Liberty Project, that Nevin is leading for Resist Trump, and the satellite groups who have already started, Resist Austin's done a lot of great stuff. This is how we're going to survive. So thank you all for joining our webinar today. Thank you, Nevin, for inviting me to speak. And let's go beat some fascists.
Non-violently.
That
And
was, you did that
lawfully.
perfectly, Nevin.
So thank you so much, Jimmy. It is so great having you here. Yeah, folks, welcome to our webinar. We are so happy to have you here. Next on our kind of list of things to chat with you about is a presentation that I've prepared and that I'm very honored to have Tracy A. join me for. Tracy, would you like to come up on stage? There you are. How you doing?
I was working
Hello.
on it.
You're all right. Are you? Where are you today? Are you in?
I am on my balcony.
Okay, okay, cool. I mean, I was gonna say, you could be in on an
Could
island
be
or
in
something.
Miami,
Maybe, maybe.
Cuba, anywhere.
Cool. So, yeah, what we're going to be talking about to right now, y'all, is just like the need for a lawful nonviolent civil resistance campaign to kind of meet this moment. Tracy's going to be offering some commentary throughout this presentation. We'll be talking about our resist Trump philosophy, our theory of change, our logic model, and some case studies of like kind of what work we've done, like what impact it's had. And then we'll talk about just like the community offerings in general. Later in the call, we'll actually go through some indicators that like show some of the impact we have, and we're still working on that set of indicators because we're just like we're a startup and we're building out the model. But we did want to give you guys kind of a like we wanted to have a little show and tell, right? Just like this is what we've been working on. So I'm gonna just cycle through, just jump to the next or to the other slide presentation. Here we go. I think this is, sorry guys, I'm just going to take a second to look where I am. Yep, this is, so guys, this is the presentation that lives on our website. If you go to, I'll just show you, if you go to resisttrump.us, if you go to just like read the orientation guide, it's so easy to get to. You can just see what we're about, right? So I'm going to click that. This is the orientation guide. You can jump around all the slides here, see what we're working on and stuff like that. And so, since Jimmy just shared with us, the fact that we are experiencing an authoritarian, takeover of our country, assuming you are concerned, then you may want to, evaluate how we're thinking about how to extract ourselves from what we're referring to as authoritarian capture, or at least the threat of authoritarian capture. There are many options on this slide that may or may not apply to our situation or to your situation, but we are choosing the path in the green, and that's going to be kind of a recurring theme in today's presentation. Is that when you see the green, that's kind of where that's the route that we're proposing makes sense for us and maybe for others as well. Um, so, we're looking at nonviolent civil resistance and we're looking to use it to augment power and deploy it strategically for pro-democracy purposes. Nonviolent civil resistance, we're going to talk about very briefly. It's a body of work that has been used successfully by nonviolent movements like Otpor in Serbia and Yugoslavia, in India, in Alabama. Um, and we are going to make it work for us too. We have many partners in the work, and we're excited to share with you, how we're working together with them over the course of today's call. So, what I'll talk about next is assuming that we want to choose nonviolent civil resistance. It is likely that we will, succeed if we use lessons that other people have observed worked for other nonviolent civil resistance movements in the past. Um, One expert who is the former president of the International Center on Nonviolent Conflict has written profusely about how successful nonviolent civil resistance movements tend to meet three basic criteria: unity, planning, and nonviolent discipline. And so we're definitely going to employ those efforts as we begin to again build unity, plan appropriately, and exercise nonviolent discipline. I did see that someone raised their hand, but I'm not sure if their hand is still up. I don't see it up, but feel free to raise your hand. Let's see. Let's go to Mark. Mark, I'm going to allow you to talk. You should be allowed to talk now if you want to come off mute.
Okay, so I get the idea of peacefully protesting, but I have so much anger. I'm trans, by the way. Recently just became trans. My name used to be Mary. I changed it over to Mark because it's the closest thing to Mary spelling
Well,
wise.
congratulations.
Thank you. It's been great. Uh, and honestly, I got so much hatred and anger towards how I get treated because I'm transgender and how just people treat me and leave me out sometimes and
I'm
act
sorry.
like I'm not a dude. I'm a dude.
Do you
I
want to
was
change
able to
your
get
do you want to do you want to
way
do
more
you, do you
deep
want to
voice and all that. I
Yeah,
want to
I'm so
be
sorry, man.
able to do it. I want to be able
Yes.
to freely be I and be masculine and play like football and all that with a whole bunch of other guys. So how do I peacefully protest whenever all this happens?
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I'm gonna disable talking, and we're gonna talk a little bit about your comment. So thanks for your comment. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, how does Mark handle the situation, Tracy? What do you think? How do you peacefully protest? I don't know,
Um,
with a sign?
well, yeah, signs are good, chants are good. I don't know of any chants, for that, but I'm sure there are. Um, the only experience I have had where that was an issue, it was a negative thing. Other than that, I've seen all kinds of wonderfully trans people and nobody bothered them.
Yeah.
Nobody was tacky or anything like that. What do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, Mark, was it? Um, Thank you for speaking up. Um, Testosterone is a hell of a drug, and the anger that it creates for men drives you to wish for actions that are not proper in a good, solid, collective society. And that's what they're trying to do to us. They're baiting us into reactions so they can use our reactions against us. This was happening in the 90s when it was less about trans and it was more about being queer or being gay. And I was a community leader in the 90s during that time too. And I remember that feeling and how hard it was to stay calm. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to be angry. We are all righteously angry. How we express it is the test of our humanity. It's not easy. And as a trans person, it is okay for you to take care of yourself first. You're the first who's going to be come for, but that doesn't mean you have to sit on the front lines. You can take time to protect yourself and to protect your emotions and build community, which is really important for all of us. And part of what this movement does is it does help us build community. And that's how you're going to address some of the mental health factors that this fascist drama is going to create for all of us. So it what you're feeling is normal. What you're feeling is similar to what we're all feeling, and it reminds me a lot of how I felt in the 90s when they were, trying to undo all of gay rights, and they were throwing us in jail for just having a partner. So I want to honor what you're saying and know that this is the feeling we have right before we win. That's what happened in the 90s, and it's going to happen again.
Thanks, Jimmy. Um, Hopefully that gives Mark some perspective. Mark, again, welcome, and we hope that our approach of nonviolence will appeal to you. So we know that we're not the only game in town, and that's a good thing. We know that this movement is a mosaic of actors and individuals, and and so we have been studying Maria Stephan's framework that she popularized in like November of last year, uh, where she referenced something that she called the 4 Bs, build, block, break, and bridge, as 4 strategies to use in an authoritarian environment. For organizations, for individuals, that's the 4 Bs framework. And so we've categorized in a very kind of rough way a few of the entities that we know are doing important work to kind of like set the context for like where we fit in, because we're not like the only game in town, right? Um, so let's see. I go forward a little bit. Let's see if that works. Oh, I'm getting stuck. Okay, try this again. Oh, it's stuck for me. Whoops. Okay, sorry guys. I'm gonna have to share again. Let me see if that works. Nope, still not working. Okay, now let's try. Oh, that's where it's not working. Here, let me try this. That window seems to, my Chrome is just not working for me, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll have to reset Chrome. Well, anyway, we'll just have to proceed as it is while Chrome restarts on my end. I think it's being finicky. It's not even quitting when I'm asking it to quit. It's like, dude, you did your job. Go home. Okay, so anyway, Chrome is not working for me. I'll just go off my again, if you guys want to like follow along, I would say go on the resisttrump.com website or resisttrump.us website, and just follow along on your, on whatever device you have. So we've got this orientation. I'm going to cycle through the slides. I'm just cycling through. So if you look at slide 20, you'll see the same slide that I was just sharing a second ago. Who are some of the players in the in the nonviolent civil resistance movement? Tracy, are you able to share your screen by any chance? If you can just look into that, that would be very helpful.
Pull up the orientation.
Yeah, you can do it from the
Okay.
homepage.
Okay, just a sec.
Okay.
I will return momentarily.
Okay. In the meantime, yeah, so we're familiar with groups that are doing blocking, right? Which is like blocking the harmful policies of the Trump administration. Some of those groups include Indivisible, which has a very storied history in the work that it's been doing since I believe 2017 or so. Um, Props to Ezra, Leah, and the entire army of Indivisible activists around the country. You're doing amazing work. Please keep it up. Protect Democracy, we know is doing some work around, blocking in the court system. They're doing the best work that we think is, some of the best work around. The Democratic Party is doing what they can as the sort of party in opposition. Um, let's see. Just want to make sure I still have some of y'all on my screen. Um, yeah, and then as far as other forms of action goes, there's like building, which is a different form of action that refers to kind of building leaders, building alternative party platforms, building new ideas. And so campaign nonviolence, we want to give a shout out to. 1 Million Rising, we want to give a shout out to. Yeah, my Chrome is literally still open. I need like a computer expert to just like tell it to stop. Um, Working Families Party, we want to give a shout out to as like an example of a group of people who are building an alternative vision for the future. Party for Socialism and Liberation, right? Uh, all part of the movement. And then there are groups that are doing like what is referred to as breaking work, breaking pillars of support, more traditional like lawful nonviolent civil resistance. And 5051 is a good example of that. Tesla takedown movement, Fox takedown, General Strike, and other actors, many other actors that are doing good work. These are just the ones that seem to have more of a national focus. We do know that grassroots groups all over the country are doing amazing heroic work right now. And then other bridging organizations include, Crossing Party Lines and Braver Angels, right? Um, maybe I can open up a different browser. Maybe that's the way to go. Okay. Let me go ahead and open up. What's a different Safari? Let's see, let's go on a Safari, guys. Okay. I'm gonna open up Safari, go to ResistTrump.us. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Go ahead and share Safari. All right, hey, I guess we're back. Nice. Trace, I think you're good, but in any case, let's keep moving. So, okay. We heard about many other players in the movement using the 4Bs framework just now, right? If you've been to one of our orientations, you've definitely heard this before. So the question is like, how does the Resist Trump campaign help the movement? And one thing that we're, really kind of focusing on lately is our credo that we make it easier and a little more fun for activists to resist Trump. I hope you like it because that's what we're working with right now. Um, we want to make it easier and a little more fun for activists like yourselves to resist Trump. That's it. We have as our goal a thriving democracy free from authoritarian control. And the method we aim to use to get to that goal is lawful, nonviolent, civil resistance of Trump and his enablers. The principles that we'll follow in achieving that goal include collaboration, integrity, nonpartisanship, professionalism, and hope. They seem to have worked so far. This is a powerful slide to be aware of that is in our orientation guide, and it shows you how, when you're involved in political dissent, if you want to express your opinion, you can get involved in the traditional political process, voting and writing letters, writing postcards, canvassing, but there is a wide spectrum of activity protected by the First Amendment known as lawful civil resistance. It includes boycotts, strikes, protests and demonstrations, artistic and cultural resistance. That's all protected activity. Am I right, Tracy?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So
Sorry, I
no,
had trouble finding my mute and unmute.
no, you're good. Okay, so we're gonna be, using lawful civil resistance. That's our, kind of bread and butter. Um, and many other groups are doing similar work. And so, I know that there's all this like, all these clips, floating around of like far left groups, advocating for this and that. Like we're literally telling you right now, like lawful civil resistance, nonviolent lawful civil resistance. It's protected by the First Amendment. Like, what are you going to say? These are the groups at the bottom that seem to be doing really important work that we're aware of, and we know how many grassroots groups are not on this list. Indivisible is doing great. Then there's many other groups as well. We have something called a theory of change, which is our like theory of how this is all going to play out, right? And the general definition of a theory of change is like, just like a plan, right? Just to use very straightforward language, like a plan that'll get you to the goal, right? It is used by nonprofits because in nonprofit work, it's not as simple as just like selling a product or service, right? Like you've got to design like a whole new system to get to where you want to be. And so our system that we're trying to like, kind of tweak with and improve shows us that we have common goals with those who are trying to reach a thriving democracy free from authoritarian control. You can see those in the blue, and we want to reform our democracy. We don't want to just go back to where we were in 2020 because we weren't very good back then. We were okay. Some people were doing fine, but most people weren't doing that great. We want to do everything else that's on that in the blue that you see there. And again, we're following the green path, at least with the Resist Trump campaign. But we know that like volunteers and activists, still are going to engage and lobby, your officials, all the important democratic work that needs to be done. Like we believe it's necessary, but probably not sufficient for the moment that we are living in. So we want to build, you want to cultivate networks of activists like yourselves and grassroots groups to employ Maria Stephan's 3 Bs, right? 3 out of the 4 Bs, and ally with other anti-authoritarian groups. That's kind of like our plan right now. There are some other frameworks that work with anti-authoritarian work that we're aware of, but Maria Stephan's solid. So that's what we're working with right now. And the ultimate goal is to build power and deploy it strategically to push the system back into democratic functioning and to make the system better. That's our plan. That's what we want to do. We won't be able to do without y'all because, as you can see, we need activists and grassroots groups to believe in a thriving democracy free from authoritarian control that is in our reach and who can commit to lawful, nonviolent alternative work. We can't do it alone. We have to do it with y'all and all the people that right? We need the 3.5% that Erica Chenoweth has told us is important in this kind of work. And everyone's going to play a different role and it's going to be wild, right? Like we're just getting started. But we'll get there. We hope. I hope. Yeah. So anyway, how do we work? I do want to talk a little bit about that. There's lots to talk about, but one thing that we kind of promised we would talk about is this logic model that shows you, how to think about our organization or campaign or whatever as like a system, right? Like it is kind of like a system. It's like a human system, right? And so with a human system, you have people, and some of those people are our campaign members, like Tracy and me, right? Some of those people are activists like yourselves. Some of those people are potential resist pods and grassroots groups that you may represent today. Maybe movement partners that you could represent today, or vendors or whatever. Like it's all people, right? And we take inputs like our time and other stuff, and we produce outputs through the activities that we are designing and creating, right? Like we've got a whole bunch of community offerings that you can see there, which are sort of like our products and services if we happen to be a business, which we're not. But it's sort of like our offering, to the community, and we're offering it for free. We are supported by some excellent teams internally, like marketing and others, and our what we're kind of measuring and we're hoping to kind of put out into the world include like our services, like, and we measure that with like event signups and stuff like that. Supporting stuff like digital supporting outputs, like the number of times we share across our social media, the dollar of funds raised, other stuff, and then innovation, like as long as we're kind of creating more stuff and not just like like whatever. That's kind of our those are some of our indicators of the output that we're doing. We haven't yet fully gotten to outcomes. I do want to share like how we're thinking about it. Outcomes are like results, right? And you can think of those in terms of short term, long term, intermediate. And we're just kind of working through. So like, okay, what are our short term outcomes? And we have some of those that we want to share with you today, like growth and engagement of the activist ecosystem. But we're measuring our outcomes across all of our different people categories. So activists like yourselves, we want to help you gain knowledge and become more confident, right? Same with the whole movement as a whole. So we're trying to think about all these different things. One thing I want to share with you just now before we move on to a case study is just a quick look at our community offerings, which are listed under activities. We do offer a number of courses, and we had a course that we offered over the summer. And Trace over here is going to chat with you a little bit about that course. Trace, are you ready?
I am
Nice.
ready, rare, and willing to run.
Nice.
So we did have this course that we did over the summer, and my screen is messing up.
Should I stop sharing or what do you
No,
think?
no, you're good.
Okay.
I just need to find my notes. Here we go. Okay. So we had this webinar series, and it was entitled How to Become a Leader in the Trump Resistance. Now, it was 12 weeks, and each one of these little boxes here represent one episode. It was broken down into 3 modules, as you can sort of see it, and it had 4 episodes per module. So at the beginning, the little yellow part down there, that was basically a lot of basics. It was officially called Crossing the Threshold, Hosting a Get-Together. And I had optional assignments at the end of each module. And of course, at the end of that module, it was host a get-together. The second module there in the middle is taking action, running a lawful protest. And guess what the assignment was for that one? Running a lawful protest. And the module 3 is from one to many, declaring a resist pod. Now, a resist pod, what we consider a resist pod, is a few people, you and some other folks, maybe some friends, neighbors, family, whatever, and you get together and commit to each other to take action together. And that's pretty much it. Now you can grow that into something more, which of course we would love to see happen, but that's basically just how you get started. Now, our goals for this whole project was to get those who have not yet participated to get off the couch, get those who have to step up a notch or two, grow Resist Trump, and grow the movement as a whole. We learned a lot. As an organization, we learned that we were able to put together and execute training programs. I'm sure there will be more in the future. I'm actually kind of excited about that. I think we have a lot to offer as far as information and training goes. And just like other learners, we all learn something from the speakers, from how to engage with people who disagree with you, to which permits do you need and how do you get them. Personally, I not only learned new information about the technical aspects of moderating a webinar, I also learned that I really enjoyed it. Now, some of the real impacts that we were able to find was as far as getting people off the couch. We definitely achieved that. Many of our learners just sort of popped in wondering, what was going on and how can they get involved, which is fabulous. There are people who were not activists and didn't know where to start. So we were able to help them, get started and move ahead. The people who were active, we were, trying to get them to step up a notch and do a little bit more. And many of the learners told us, how they were moving forward and employing some of this information and what they're already doing to sort of make it a more rounded and program and everything. We did grow Resist Trump. We gained several new volunteers, both local and nationwide. So it was pretty fun. There was a speaker who taught us how to banner. which was one of my favorite episodes. And it's basically used for demonstrating on overpasses and similar places like that. We learned specifically that what to make them with, how to do it safely, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, one of our pods, Resist Dawson, just loved it and has taken this information and run with it. So they are putting together their own plan for all of this. I think that I personally can't wait to do it again. Now, having said that, it was a lot of work, but I'm ready to jump in again. I think the learning and the experience, I really do think that learning and training is going to be excellent for our future.
I think that's amazing, Tracy. I really appreciate you sharing all that you did and reflecting on that, 3-month experience with me. Tracy and I were shotgun and pilot, kind of trading between those roles for a good 3 months there. And yeah, I think we learned a lot, and I'm grateful for working with you and for working with everyone that worked on that team. That was a cool experience.
Absolutely. It was so much fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to actually pause and just take questions. You should have the ability to put your questions in the Q&A, or if you want to raise your hand, we can engage you that way. Does anyone have any questions about the core training or anything like that, or anything that's on their minds? Who's a panelist or an attendee? If you want to drop a question in the chat or anything like that, feel free. Anyway, so I don't see any hands, so I'm gonna keep moving. Um, the next slide that we're planning to show you is just a little bit of a reflection on Resist Austin. Resist Austin is the first kind of affiliate in the distributed organizing network that we're hoping to cultivate. Again, if you have an established group, like that's great. We want to work with you too. We have offerings for you too. But if you are an activist and you're like ready to start a group, like we want to help you start a group. And we want to use Resist Austin and what we've learned there, with the Tesla takedown work we've been doing since March, the things that we've seen, the things that we've learned, and we haven't seen or learned everything, but we've learned something. And you can go to resistaustin.us to learn more about Resist Austin, go to its social media to kind of just see the work that it's done. We're now, noticing that the Tesla takedown campaign is still, I mean, it's still going, but there are other, focal points that we're also expanding towards as well. I mean, people are concerned about ICE, they're concerned about Fox, and like a million other things. And so we're also expanding our lawful nonviolent civil resistance efforts at Resist Austin in those directions as well. And if you look very closely on the picture on the right, you might be able to see me, and you might be able to see someone named Jimmy. I'm just gonna say, you may be able to see that. Yeah, so that's the Resist Austin case study. Check us out. See how that resonates for you and your local group, and if you're interested in developing a group of your own, like we want to be able to help you get there. So yeah, that's the Resist Austin, and I think that was the last piece I wanted to talk about for the case study piece. Oh yeah, and then finally, what do we actually do with these community offerings? So I know I kind of like briefly talked about those. The ways to get involved, like the governance opportunities, include participating in this town hall. We're going to be issuing a report on a quarterly basis prior to future town halls, like something simple that just kind of goes over the impact that we believe we're making. You can join as a campaign volunteer, a pro bono advisor. You can, fill out our skills survey. Lots of ways to get involved if you'd like to be, a participant in the governance of this campaign. And then in terms of courses, we've got the core training that we've now taken from a live workshop that we were doing for 12 weeks, as Tracy just said. Now it's on Google Classroom where it lives. You can do it online, self-paced at your own pace. You can also interact with instructors. Currently I'm the instructor in that course, but I'm looking to bring in other organizers if you know anybody or if you yourself are an organizer, to be able to coach participants into engaging in this work. We got a boot camp if you have experience, bringing your groups together and you just want to like focus on the essentials for civil resistance. And then we've got other stuff in the works. As far as our community events go, we've got plenty. Orientation happens every Sunday night. Resistance School happens every Sunday night. Organizers Table Mondays. Nonviolent movie night we're going to do actually later today for the first time, which should be hilarious. We're going to be showing a movie about the Outpour movement that like successfully, countered a authoritarian dictator with nonviolent civil resistance.
Bringing down a dictator.
That's what
I
it's
love
called.
the title.
No Kings are going to be the next one. All you documentary filmmakers out there, make sure you're getting good footage for what we're about to watch tomorrow. Yeah. So and then there's Voices of the Resistance and some other things that we're working on as well from the community event angle. Um, we also have a toolkit set, and it looks like we've got one of our campaign volunteers in the backstage who might be able to tell you a little bit about our first and second toolkits. Astrid, are you able to come on stage? If you are, please feel free. Guys, Astrid is a campaign volunteer who is incredible. Astrid, you are on screen and you are muted. How are you?
I'm doing okay, though I did just come from the eye doctors.
Nice, nice, nice. Your voice is your volume is a little lower than it was for Tracy, just FYI.
Okay, I will try and speak up because I'm not entirely sure how to fix that quickly.
Okay, fine. So tell us about the toolkits that you have made and are making, please.
Fabulous. Yes. So the first one we've made is how to host a get together. And this is all about for people who've never hosted some sort of community gathering or get together for people. It's all about, how to do that and ideas for where to do it. It's and I've got a link actually to drop in the chat. So let me just grab that real quick.
Sure.
Um, So this is where you can find all of our toolkits. And we're working on, as I'm sure it's been made clear already, though again, I did come in a little late. One of the things that Resist Trump holds dear is the idea of educating new community organizers or people who just want to understand how best, they can get involved. And one of the best ways to do that is by hosting a get together, getting to meet people in your area who care about the same issues you do and who therefore want to thank you, Jay. Thank you very much, Jay. And who want to also figure out how they can get involved. So our first toolkit was how to host a get together because we understand that sometimes inviting people, whether you know them or not, into an organizing gathering situation can be intimidating. So we wanted to provide people with tips and ideas for how to do that. We also offer the use of Mobilize for new get-together hosts so that they can get people in their area who maybe they don't know to come join. So we did a small, little adjacent toolkit for that. That's just how to utilize Mobilize. So that's fabulous. I'm currently working on how to host a protest, and I say I, but really it's a group of us working together. And this one is going to be designed specifically for people who've never hosted a protest before. Although I will say that there will be ideas and tips for people who have hosted protests and are looking to do bigger protests or something different. So we're really hoping to make it multi-user friendly. But our main focus is for people who've never hosted a protest because I've never hosted a protest. And when Devin's like, we should do a protest toolkit. And I went, great, I've never done one. So I basically wrote the toolkit I wanted and have gotten a lot of wonderful feedback. That one is not done yet, but we will be releasing a MVP, a minimally viable product, in about a couple of weeks, where we will cover kind of what is a protest and the planning process. Our finished product, which will be done, we're hoping for Thanksgiving, but New Year's latest, will be how, what is a protest, as well as planning a protest. But then it will also cover what to do during the protest, and what to do after the protest. So that's
Lots to come from Astrid and the team. Thank you so much, Astrid, for everything that you're doing for the campaign.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So yeah, we've got a few other toolkits, on the way. Welcome to the call, y'all, in case you're just joining. And then we've got some national mini campaigns, which are really just like experimental spaces to, engage in the work of lawful nonviolent civil resistance and meet other activists who are doing the same. We've identified, Fox, ICE, and Elon as like problems with respect to authoritarianism, if I may say so. And so you can join us at some of those times that you see there, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, to talk about how you want to, again, lawfully and nonviolently resist these entities and individuals and their businesses. So welcome back, Tracy, to the stage. I don't know what else I'm talking about now. Do I have anything else? Let me see. Oh yeah. So then finally, this is our current calendar. If you're interested in just any of our events, we've got stuff happening throughout the week. Please check us out and go to our website, resisttrump.us right here. If you go to events, you should be able to go to the public events calendar and then find all of our stuff on Mobilize where it lives. And you can see all the things we have going on in the upcoming weeks to come. So I believe that I may be finished with this section. My Google Chrome is still like in freeze mode. I don't know what's up with that. Google, didn't come through in the clutch. What's up with that? But I think what we're gonna do is do some volunteer reflections. Does that sound right, Trace? I think some volunteer reflections.
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's do some reflections. Presenter. Okay. We've got Jay, Astrid, and Britt. Astrid, I know you just kind of gave a pretty strong reflection, but you're welcome to come back on this screen or the stage again. Astrid and Britt and Jay, would you like to come on stage and share a little bit
I'm
of thought?
here.
Nice.
Thank you very much. So I'm happy to be here. I am one of the Discord moderators. I've been involved with Resist Trump since April, and I enjoy it very much. The thing that I like the most about Resist Trump is um, it's very well organized and very detailed and very rigorous in terms of thinking creatively about a lot of different types of ideas and being very thoughtful about including everybody and including ideas and really openly talking about everything. Basically, what I said in writing, which is the reason why I choose this group over some of the other ones that I'm also involved with. And by the way, I have a leadership background in virtual event coordination, online platform moderation, and media literacy outreach, just to let you know a little bit about me. And I basically said that I am proud to be a volunteer leader in Resist Trump because of their thoughtful approach to all the areas of structure and team building, the open dialogue process within the teams, and the evaluation of ideas and strategy, at least from what I've seen so far, is rare in my experience with other organizations. And Resist Trump meets a higher standard of holding itself accountable for its ideas and their execution and effectiveness. So basically, if you're looking for a place to donate your valuable time and energy, Resist Trump is a good place to be planted. We are growing, so please join us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jay. It's such a pleasure having you on the campaign. Astrid, do you want to say something more?
Sure, and hopefully we fixed my audio. I do apologize for that, everyone. Like I said, came running out of the eye doctor, so didn't quite get things as situated as I would have liked. So I joined Resist Trump back in January or February of this year, and I've done some political activism before this in various places, and I will second everything Jay said about the collaboration and the welcomingness. But there's something also that I wanted to mention. Having been in other places, I know how passionate people are about this work, and I completely get it. But I also work full-time, run my own business. I'm our main bread earner. And one of the things I've always really appreciated about Resist Trump is that there's understanding. There's understanding that we all have other responsibilities, sometimes health issues or whatever. And it's not that we're not still responsible and accountable. We hold up our end of, whatever we said we were going to do. We expect that as a group. We're a very professional group, which I love. But there is also understanding that a lot of us are volunteers. And so I really appreciate that about this group as someone with other responsibilities. So please do join us. We always like having new people.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Astrid. Okay, I don't think Britt is going to be joining us on stage right now. So we'll just continue to proceed. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Am I off mute? Hello,
Yes.
everyone. So I'm coming at this from a little bit of a different angle because this is a whole new world to me. Not an organizer. I've been to protests, of course, and things, but never actively involved on this level. So I tried out a lot of different groups before I fully committed to one because I didn't want to be hopping in and out. And I was looking for something that went above just the typical methods like registering people to vote, et cetera, because I'd already been calling my, our reps, all of the things, doing the things. So I went to resistance school and boot camp. That was a little too advanced for me, given my lack of knowledge. But at the same time, I knew I'd found my people because the meeting was started by reading the First Amendment. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I wanted to know how else I could be involved. And that's how I became a volunteer. Um, a lot of people say, oh, this is a collaborative process, et cetera, et cetera. No, they really mean it. Everyone has a voice, even me with my limited knowledge coming in. So you get to learn. There are a lot of opportunities for learn. You guys have heard that. The engagement is great. And I like the vibes, honestly. And it's great to be around like-minded individuals. Gives you a sense of validation and okay, I'm not the only one. So it's been great for me. Being involved has really helped my mental health. I don't know about anyone else, but it took a hit this year. There are big goals. We have big goals, big dreams, and there's a solid way to achieve them. So that's why I'm here. That's it.
Amazing to have you here, Britt, Astrid, Jay. You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much for what you're doing with the campaign.
Thank you.
All right. I think next on our agenda is to talk about the indicators that we have evaluated to just sort of give you a sense as to kind of how the system, the human system is working. But I just want to pause. Does anyone have any questions, or does anyone want to come off mute and offer anything at this time? You can probably put a question in the Q&A, or you can raise your hand. We're pretty transparent, or at least we strive to be. Sorry, Aaron, you just came on stage. Okay, cool. Cool. Welcome. And Akim's coming on stage. Hey, Akim. Hey, do you guys want to introduce yourselves to the audience?
Akim, do you want to go first? You've been here longer? Oh, okay. Age before beauty. Is that what that is? All right. So I'm Erin. I'm one of the campaign volunteers. I've been with Resist Trump since about April. I'm pretty much like a jack of all trades, master of none, but I do have definitely been involved in just about everything. So one of the main venues that I found myself involved in is getting this thing to have legs and making sure that we can get on our feet and running and get our name out there. And so hopefully I can speak to that. I am, full disclosure, also working on another organization that is at a party level. So I wear two hats. I keep them separate as best as I can, but I also allow for a lot of cross-pollination, and the ideas do crossover. So whatever I can bring to the organization, I bring with a purpose so that it makes the organization grow. And I'm so happy to see all the people that are here. And I am so glad to share all this with you and what our successes are, because I think they're worth it.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, and I'm Akam D. I'm a pro bono advisor to the Resist Trump campaign for the last 6 months or so, I think, Evan. And I work on a couple of the sub teams that we have. So the marketing team, which is where I spent most of my career, and then also the strategy and legal team that we have to talk more about expansion and goals and the like. And yeah, very much enjoyed it, and excited to have this town hall here with you all today. And yeah, let's show you some indicators.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and pull up the file. Let me see if I can go here and then.
So while Nevin's doing that, I'm just going to kind of describe what he's looking for. We have kept track over our existence, or whenever the platform came online, every basically method that we use to reach people. So whether it's through Mobilize or whether it's a social account that we're utilizing, any and everything that we can to capture data. It is not to take your personal information, I swear to God. It is only to make sure that we are being successful in reaching people and what that looks like. And so what he's bringing up now is going to kind of go into exactly how much we've grown. We exist on a multitude of platforms. We get a lot of our campaign people through the Mobilize app. We also have a platform through Meetup, and that's how we get a lot of our interactions. People come to us, they like what they see, and then at the end of every meeting, we usually have like an ask if you want to join us. There's a way to do that. Little short application, if you will, submit your resume, little chat, and then we come on board, and then you get to get your hands dirty, so to speak. So one of the things that we like to look at is in terms of the logic model. You've got the campaign member time. Each campaign volunteer, some of us contribute more than others, but it's the minimum requirement, I believe, of Nev, what is it, 2-3 hours a week?
3 for campaign volunteers, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like it's hardly, it's not a full-time job. You can make it a full-time job if you want it to be. Some people don't have any other way of operating, but you're not being expected to like take on a completely exhausting role. We have a lot of different ways that we deploy our volunteers. Our volunteers are involved in so many different teams that we have, whether it's like Akam referenced, our marketing team, which is helping us a lot with making our beautiful graphics, making our how we deploy those graphics. How do we make our social media be attractive and impactful? There's also the development team, works on fundraising. This ain't cheap. It's not cheap in order to operate. There are things that we need to make money for. So how we do that, how we go about that, how we develop those things. So whether it's our Act Blue or whether or not it's crowdfunding or however we choose to go about that. We've even, it's not the greatest. We're working on it. Please bear with us. There's even a merchandise store so that we can develop those things so that we can become a larger organization. That's our goal, so that we can be the most impactful going forward. And then there's other things that we're doing on our tech side. How are we developing our Discord? Is our Discord being utilized appropriately? So that's through our moderation team. Is our Discord being used in a way that is unique? Case in point, right after this, we have a movie night. That's not something that is normally done through a Discord server, but it's a possibility, and it is something that we are going to pursue. So we have lots of different teams that can be joined, and we keep gaining volunteers, and the volunteers that we keep getting are like, they just keep blowing me out of the water. They're more and more impressive every single day.
We got a great comment from Deanna saying that we need to sell yarn
The
for
yarn
our behalf.
podcast, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, we need to work on that. That's
I
our
agree.
next project.
It
Thank
might
you,
be a
Deanna.
DIY, so we can sell you the yarn, and the pattern, you might have to make it yourself. So it'd be like one of those the woobles or whatever it is that you see on Facebook with the little creatures.
Well, we have a
about
threadless
that.
store. We have a threadless store, right? Like
We
artists can connect with us if they want to design something.
We
should
can
be able to.
also go in on a campaign on Threadless. It is an artist platform. And so since I am technically the artist, full disclosure, that is putting some of the stuff out there, feel free to hit us up. It is Resist Trump campaign. You can always go in, and if you've got a graphic that you want to share with the store, we can make it happen. Just reach out to Nev or myself. We'll put our information at the end. But yeah, we can definitely do that. And I love the frog idea, and I'm probably going to steal it. So thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Deanna.
All right. So should
yeah.
we move through the logic model? Or what do you think, Aaron? Should
Sure.
we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just kind of the things that what it looks like. As far as our outputs, our campaign services that we've delivered, we've gone through our
Wait. Well, should we go through the inputs a little more slowly?
Sure.
Yeah. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
What I was thinking is that we could do like each tab so that people get used to what they're gonna see in our data.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you want to walk through that?
Yeah, I'll just walk through it and then I'll
Okay.
invite you and Akim to like comment on anything you want. Is that okay, guys?
That's beautiful.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we are running at about 20 volunteers. We're currently at 21 campaign members, which include our pro bono advisors like Akim, our campaign volunteers like Aaron. We have no campaign organizers yet, but we are looking to potentially, create room for that role. And then there's me, and then there's a few consultants that we're kind of working with on a regular basis as well, and that kind of gets us to a total of about 21 currently. And last quarter, I think we ended with 19. Everyone's remote all over the map. And that's kind of what our configuration looks like from campaign member time. Guys, getting any comments on like the campaign member campaign member body, anything?
Not that I see any questions. That might be reserved for Q&A. Maybe they got to think on it.
Okay.
I would say overall, right, that the campaign is fairly stable in terms of some of the core members and so on, right? And then there's some people cycling in and out as their personal situations demand or so. But I would also say that the quality of people that work on this, right, and the quality of conversations and discussions that we have is really high. And so we're always open for new members, right, that want to join and contribute. But also there's some stability that helps move the organization forward. So that's what I'm excited about.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
We do have a very solid group of individuals, but we're always looking for additions because they always bring value and a new perspective, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely. Another part of our kind of model involves like professional services, which means like consulting, legal, and other forms of professional services, like accounting and bookkeeping, things like that. So we do have some engagements across those areas. We're I think, very happy to be represented by our strategic legal counsel, which I'm gonna if I can. Oh, I can't actually change the text on this because I'm not in Google. Stupid Google. Anyway, so yeah, we've got legal counsel, we've got and some other consultants that we're working with or trying to work with. This is really important, like an important piece of the logic model and just like the organization, the campaign. We consider many of these consultants to be campaign members, sort of part of the team. They've provided us with invaluable resources and invaluable advice. I used to be an independent consultant, so I sort of kind of like empathize with that role or whatever. Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any comments on like any of the consultants you've had a chance to interact with on the campaign?
Great.
Cool. All right. Then we have a technology stack. I was gonna go ahead and share our technology budget. Aaron, are you ready for that?
Sure, fire away, Gridley.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna open up another window. Let's see.
I use terribly outdated phrases, so I do apologize to the audience.
Okay, so our technology stack, right? We're willing to show you what we're spending on technology. It is not, the easiest thing to assemble a technology stack, but we're doing it. And so the last quarter started in July, and you can see that our total spending came out to whatever that number is, July, August, September, so around $7,500 in technology costs, primarily going towards Mobilize, which we are adapting to and sort of changing our approach towards because of the costs involved. And then we've got some other vendors that we're working with as well that are very, very helpful in kind of presenting the organization to the world, you know. So that's what our technology stack looks like. That's kind of what it looks like, and that's what it will look like going forward. Um, let's see. Any comments from either of you guys on the tech stack? Do you guys like our tech stack? I mean, the Zoom is part of the tech stack, right? Like
It's a very important platform. That's how we get 90% of our business done.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Zoom is key. Zoom is like the Zoom workplace. We're getting a lot out of the $53 he spent in quarter 2 or quarter 3 or whatever that was, quarter 3. But it's also the webinars, right? The sessions unlimited. So that's more like $316. That we're getting our money's worth, I believe. And then, you know, the MailChimp is also a good, I think, ROI for us. Slack is a huge ROI. I think Slack is a fantastic ROI for us. And then we've got some other things like Google Workspace and stuff like that too. So thank you guys. Okay, so let's move on to another indicator, like our conferences, training, and events. Okay, this is a little more boring. So I'm going to go to our conferences, training, and events for July, August, and September. And you can see there was one event that we were represented at, Netroots Nation. I attended, made some very good connections there, and you know, enjoyed it. It does cost money to travel, to get, you know, a space to, you know, sleep, and then to pay conference fees. And so there is a cost associated with conferences, training, and events. But we believe that this makes our campaign stronger because it gives us the access to, you know, relationships that we wouldn't otherwise have. And those have been very, very, very helpful relationships, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we've got office space. I'm going to go back to the office space. We're currently a customer of a fantastic co-working space in East Austin, known as Create Escape. I pay a little bit of money for a desk there. They probably wouldn't want me to share the number. Maybe I can get you an insider rate if you guys are interested in getting a co-working space and you live in Austin. But that is a great deal, and I'm very, very happy with what we're, you know, obtaining from that very helpful service from a great team. Um, and then I think the last piece was equipment, I think. And so, oh, I don't think I've got equipment there. Oh yeah, we purchased as a campaign something called an Owl Labs Meeting Owl. It's like gives you the ability to do hybrid meetings. And so as we start to work more with people in the Austin area, or we start to set up satellite, you know, or people start to clump together, like maybe someone Erin finds and wherever she is, or Alkim wherever he is. I know where you guys are, but you know what I'm saying. You know, maybe we can get them an owl so that they can kind of interact in person and also bring people into a Zoom space. So we'll see how that all works out. But we are excited about the owl that we have access to, and it did cost a bit of a chunk of change, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. All right, so that's our equipment. Now we're moving on. Shall we move on to outputs? Erin, is that okay?
Sure, since I was apparently all ready to go on output.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, I didn't want to skip, you know, I just skip the inputs, man. The inputs got to get some love too.
They do. And what they do is they explain, you know, the reasons why at the end of the day, you know, we do as much as we do in fundraising efforts. Like they're paying for a very important and integral service that allows us to be successful. And we want that to be transparent for the people who want to come to these things and know, you know, they deserve to have full transparency.
Yeah, I mean, we're a nonprofit. We're a social, you know, I think it's a social welfare organization. So we don't want to. I mean, we do have some things we don't share, but like, you know,
I can tell you how all the sausage
we're not
is
going to
made.
share what those things are. So sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So outputs, going back to the model, what does that mean? So like campaign services delivered, supporting outputs, and innovation are what we're trying to, like, you know, produce. And I think some indicators that show what we're producing include our event signups.
Yep.
Do you want to talk through this, Erin?
Sure. Oh, thank you. It's
Sure.
like I don't have supervision. I think our most successful to date has been our orientation. and also how to become leader in the Trump resistance, which is why it deserved a spotlight. As far as those two offerings go, they are probably our premier. Orientation has gone through some revisions, but it is basically speaking to the core of who we are and why we are doing what we're doing. And it shows that clearly we have some appeal out in the broad public in how many signups that we've gotten. And then when we started to integrate into part of that, a training school essentially of how to become a leader in the resistance, you can see it jumped up over 1,000 signups. And the engagement really did explode. We do have other things that we offer. I find personally Resistance School is very interesting. It's more of a book club academic exercise, but it's a fascinating one. And there's exploration of essentially theories of resistance. When we've had a very solid core group of participants that have come through and participate. Organizers table has also been very successful. We've had over 100 signups on the organizers table, and that is an opportunity for organizers who are either local in the Texas area, or if they're national, they can join and they can speak with other organizers, share ideas, grow. Leadership Lab is like a, I believe that's like a, it's a spin-off essentially of the How to Become a Leader in the Trump Resistance. And that's more like an intensive lab kind of environment rather than an educational environment. There's activist get-togethers, and then there's our other three, which you see in the core middle there, 5, 6, and 7, the hashtag organizing calls. These are relatively new. You can see they all kind of started beginning of September, but they've been sitting in our minds for a while, all spun out of essentially feedback from our Discord and also what the community is finding needs to be done. What do we think we can do as far as putting our energy and efforts behind in order to be successful in taking down, being part of our model of change? What are we going to be the most successful with in altering? And so that includes, we had a previous initiative that was much more successful that was probably driven by another organization as well, but that was a nationwide campaign that was related to Elon Musk as well. But Boycott Elon, Ice Out, and Stop the Lies Fox are ours that we have initiated. And they've, especially the Ice Out campaign, has had a significant interest, not only in signups for their organizing call, but also engagement on the Discord server. And that is, I think that we only go up from here.
I really appreciate that perspective, Aaron. That was like really, really helpful context that you shared with everyone. Thank you. Deanna actually raised her hand while we were talking. I want to just see if Deanna, you raised your hand again. I'm going to allow you to talk. So let me see if I can do that again. You should be able to come off of mute, Deanna.
Oh, I just was gonna say I took the resistance school and thought it was really worthwhile. And so are you gonna promote this next one in, is it like February, but they apply by January?
Yeah, so you must be talking about the How to Become a Leader in the Trump Resistance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
course.
that one. Yeah.
That one. Yeah, yeah. So we're moving that from synchronous to fully self-paced.
Oh, okay.
And it's on Google Classroom, and you can get into it like right now on our website, on our homepage.
Okay. So it's not gonna be the check-in once a week thing or whatever.
No.
Okay.
And anytime someone signs up for the course, we send them an email saying, hello, welcome to the course. And we really want to offer them like one-on-one coaching whenever they need it. So it'll be
Okay.
different. It'll be different, but I think it'll be good.
Yep, thank you. I just was gonna get clarification about, because I was gonna promote it to some other people. I really thought I think it's like, is it 12 lessons or something
Yeah.
like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really worthwhile. So I encourage people to check into it.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you. All right. I think someone else raised their hand. Let me just check to see if, okay, LG Myers, I'm going to allow you to talk if that's all right. LG, you want to come off of mute?
Sorry, that was an accident. I do apologize, but thank you for asking.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Okay. All right. So now maybe we can talk about digital shares, and who better to talk about digital shares than myself. And Akim. I'm gonna Akim. I made this this spreadsheet, so it's probably the first time you're seeing this.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead
I've,
and
I've
what's
seen
that?
it a few times, yeah, but
Okay.
go
Well,
ahead.
this okay.
Oh, the
So
shares one, yeah. Yeah.
I made this like recently, and it's kind of based off of the online traction data that we have as well. And so here, what I did was I just asked myself, like, okay, going through all of our channels, um, if a share is just like a post to a platform, how many times do we do that? Because it takes effort to produce a digital asset internally and then to share it, right? So the sharing act represents both the creation and the share in a sense. Um, and so I wanted to just walk people through that. I mean, with Meetup, we it's not really a sharing platform; it's more like an event platform. But Reddit's a great sharing platform, and we do like to cross post on the 5051 movement subreddit. Um, and that's been a great place we've been sharing recently. That's been really nice to like see what the community, has to respond with, like if they like our stuff. And we've been seeing some upvotes, which has been nice. We also have a Facebook page, which we are not seeing a ton of follower growth from, but we're just getting started and we're kind of learning some of these platforms, I think. YouTube has been an interesting medium for us recently. We posted 19 times to like videos to YouTube. It's become kind of an interesting medium to organize with, like to record calls when we have unanimous consent of participants and then to post them to our YouTube channel. And then Instagram, we shared 30 times. We didn't see a ton of follower growth there either. So we're still trying to like figure out how to use Instagram like effectively in this space. So that's kind of interesting. And then we also published like several emails over the course of the quarter. And we're definitely designing like we're putting more volunteer time and and team effort in the email newsletter. And I think they're going in a good direction. And then finally, we are on Blue Sky, but Blue Sky's data, it makes it very difficult to see how many times we've posted because we've probably posted like over 100 times in the quarter. I don't know, Alchem, do you have any comments you'd like to add to that?
No, not on this one. Actually, I was thinking in conjunction with the growth
Yeah,
chart, right? Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
more on
yeah.
the other one.
So yeah. So you can see kind of like, what we've pushed out as digital shares. I'm gonna move over to funds raised. And by the way, in terms of timing, we might go a little bit over today, just FYI. If you guys can stick around, that'd be great. If people need to drop, that's fine too. We're almost done with this section, and then we're gonna go into Q&A. So we're getting closer, but I think in general we may want to budget 2 hours for this town hall because we got like a lot to talk about, right? We'll see. So, okay. So then we got funds raised. Aaron, do you want to talk to funds raised by any chance?
Sure. I know that we are still in development as far as how we are going about our fundraising efforts. But we only just started not so long ago. I think a handful of months. We've got an ActBlue account that we've gotten set up. It's ready to roll, and we've gotten a significant over $1,000 contributing, and it's not even been like a pushed campaign. It's not something that we've been very aggressive about. So even in passive awareness, the support is quite significant in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
the
it's only
support.
going to
Yeah,
grow.
I hope so too. I'm so grateful for everyone who has donated to our campaign. They mean those each donation means so much. We are looking to get creative with our next fundraising campaign, and we're likely to launch a crowdfunding vehicle to make the funding of this campaign a democratic exercise that people can donate with anonymously and or publicly in any amount that they feel comfortable donating in kind of like a group kind of way. And we may have something available as a crowdfund, by the end of the month. That's what we're shooting for, and we'll see. Maybe when we get to that, we get to that a little bit later. But that's the plan there. And then finally, in terms of like innovation, we can think about innovation in terms of like when we, release our various community offerings. And you can see the colors here represent like the quarter in which the community offering was offered. Resistance School, we started offering in January, and then you can see everything here. We had these 5 offerings essentially be released in quarter 3. And we've got a few other offerings coming down the pike as well. And then as far as outcomes go, we have a few bits of outcome data that we can start to look at. Event feedback is one way to evaluate our outcomes, but there wasn't enough time to put the data together for this presentation, so we have nothing to share. Other than just like anecdotally, I mean, most of our events are getting like 90% positive feedback, which is good enough, I think. We listen to every single piece of feedback that we get. And so if you have more feedback, even for tonight's event or for other events, like we will listen to it and we will talk about it. As far as the growth in the activist ecosystem, I know that I think that Akim was referring to this earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe Akim, do you want to maybe we can both kind of talk about this slide or this tab. I'm going to tee up what I believe is roughly quarter three. I mean, quarter three technically started on July 1st, but June 23rd is close enough. I mean, we grew 25% in about, I don't know, three or so months. Let's see, when does this data get measured? Yeah, between 6/23 and 10/16, so almost 4 months, I guess. Should I change that number, Akim, to something else to get more accurate read?
Maybe not live and on stage, but I think what it shows, right, is that we do have healthy growth across our online communities and social media accounts, right? There's a strong presence, like a lot of the resistance type groups in Blue Sky, right, in terms of social media, and some people, don't like to engage as much on the more traditionally successful accounts or channels like Facebook and YouTube and so on. So that's reflected in here too. But yeah, I love the followership and how it's growing, right? And we are getting more active and more persistent in terms of weekly and bi-weekly and so forth posts to these accounts to get more engagement and get more followership. But if you don't follow us yet, please do so. I posted it in the chat to go to resisttrump.us, and in the top right corner are all the logos for the social accounts that you can join and follow us and like us and reshare and repost and whatever it is on the respective accounts.
Thanks, Hakim. Yeah, it'd be great to meet you guys online, and it's just one way we measure the activist ecosystem online. We know that it's composed of human beings like you who are here, and every single like number counts for us. Every single number.
And not to mention that ecosystem is so bright with, and it's a fertile ground for sharing ideas. And so if you've got something that maybe the organization that you work with now is not, even considering developing, bring it to us. We are always taking ideas, and that's how you're going to be able to reach us outside of, a direct email.
And then one recent indicator we're was beginning to track as of today is mentions by Republicans in the press. We were honored to be specifically mentioned by Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso. I don't know when the mention happened, but I'll put the link to it in the chat. And folks can see and comment if they would like about what John Barrasso had to say about us. I think John had some inaccurate statements that he shared. You will be able to see it there. I think he said, I had it called up earlier. Actually, let me see if I can call it up now. I might be able to call it up. Just some of the quotes that John shared. If you just give me 30 seconds, guys, I think it'll be worth it to explore what exactly he shared with us today. Okay, I found it. Okay. Here we go. What would we do without Google Docs? Like, what would this resistance movement exist without Google? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the budget, and then I'm gonna change the link. Whoops. Okay. See what happens. Okay. So John said that all these rallies are going to be led by the far left activists, and then he named resist Trump. We are not far left. We are activists. We are nonpartisan. Some of us may be far left. Some of us may be principled conservatives. Some of us, like me, unfortunately, are kind of centrist, like milk toast. But if you're interested in anti-authoritarian, lawful, nonviolent civil resistance, like come on in. You are welcome here. So John kind of got that one wrong. He also said, and all the groups will be calling on the Democrats to keep the government closed. Is that what we're doing?
Not even close.
Okay. Are we doing anything with the Democrats? Like, I mean,
Not on the face of it. No, I think a lot of what we're doing is trying to bring down the sources of his support. So it's not really our lane to deal with a party in particular. You might have some feelings like I myself am a Democrat. I do Democratic leadership, but that's a personal thing that I separate from this organization because this organization does a very different perspective, very different approach. You're trying to take down the pillars of what keeps Trump in power.
I mean, I'm not even connected to what's happening with the Democrats and the Republicans, other than I know that Trump is a problem.
Yeah.
And the Democrats seem to be trying. That's really all I have to say about that. So I think John got that one wrong. And then John also, or is that his name, John? I think I've lost his name. Barrasso, I
Yeah,
think it's last
John.
name. Thank you.
Johnny boy.
Johnny Sir. He is a public servant. I gotta respect that. Democrats in this body are beholden to every single one of these far left activist groups. Honestly, I can't even get a Democratic politician's office to call me back in Austin.
You
I
can't
can't
even get somebody to let you speak at a club meeting. So how about beholden?
Yeah, I don't think John Barrasso was correct about that. So we wanted to say to Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, Republican from Wyoming, hey, come check us out at resisttrump.us. And there's
Did
actually
invite him.
What's that?
We did invite him.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So come check us out, John. You might want to attend our Stop the Lies Fox call that happens every Wednesday at I think around 2 Central or something. You may want to, just check your media literacy because it seems like you got a few of your facts wrong. So maybe stop by the call and see what you think. That was a little dig at John. I appreciate you guys indulging me on that. All right. So, and then there's a couple of other indicators that we want to look into, like campaign learning and trust. We haven't really modeled yet, or talked to one of our expert consultants about or whatever, but we'll get there eventually. And then we'll also expand our set of indicators from just the campaign to other folks that we're trying to work with and show people that we're serious about the work that we're doing. So I think we're done with indicators. Aaron and Akim, you guys are amazing. You're welcome to stay on stage, or you can bounce backstage, whatever it is. We're going to do Q&A. Thank you for joining. Q&A, are there any questions from anyone in the call? Now's your chance to feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to raise your hand or drop a question in the Q&A box. It's your space to ask questions. I don't see anything happening yet. I don't see any hands coming up yet. So I'm just going to keep moving. All right. I'm just going to keep moving and let you know about upcoming initiatives. We have a lot of stuff going on, y'all. As I think about the best way to share that information, I really think that if we go back to the campaign indicators and look at our innovation, we've got some exciting stuff coming through, right? So just this quarter, we had our core training ported to Google Classroom, which is super exciting. We've got our Civil Resistance Boot Camp, which is also on Google Classroom, which you can join for free. We've got Nonviolent Movie Night starting here in 2 hours on our Discord server. How to host a protest, which Astrid talked about earlier. Voices of the Resistance is going to happen in December. That's a plan. And then we've got some really cool stuff that we're planning for next year as well that you can see on this. So we've got lots of exciting things coming up from that angle. We also have a coalition that we're working to develop as well that we call the Liberty Circle, which we're just kind of like, working with some close partners with and like brainstorming it. If you happen to be a grassroots group or a potential coalition partner, like please get in touch because we would love to work with you. And yeah, we're just building the resistance day by day, step by step, with special attention to the relationships we make, and to just try and enjoy the ride because we think we're going to win, and we might as well just enjoy the process of getting to wherever winning takes us, right? So what can you do now? Well, there's a number of things you can do as an activist, as an individual. You can continue to follow us on social media if you found out about us that way. Every single like or share actually helps a lot. You can feel free to attend our community events or take our skills survey to share some of your skills, join our Discord server or our Facebook group, or take the core training. Those are all things you can do as an activist to just kind of plug in right away. If you would like to become a campaign member, either as a pro bono advisor or as a volunteer, feel free to apply, and you will hear from us very shortly. If you're interested in helping us with resources, you can be a donor or a fundraiser, and we have links to that, which are connected to our orientation guide, which is on our homepage of our website. All right. I believe that we had a survey as well. So I'm going to find the survey again on my phone because Google is misbehaving. Let me see if I can find that. Forms. Oh no, I've got to install the form. Nope, that's not it. I think I've got it here. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the survey in the chat. You'll also get the survey link through Zoom after this call. So yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else, I think we might be done. Let's connect. Find us online. Check us out on social. Email me directly, and we will. I don't know. We will see you at No Kings, guys. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming through to our town hall. Aaron, do you have anything you want to add?
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out and thank you for participating. I was hoping more people would join me, but apparently not.
Oh, from backstage?
It was supposed to be like the whole group was supposed to come out and say goodbye. So
really,
that memo did not pass. There we go. All right, now we're getting everybody. So
nice.
Trying to we do appreciate it when people show up, especially when you. So we thank you for participating and coming out, and I think all of us can pretty much say that. So thank you.
I echoed that. Yes.
Yes. Thank you
Glad
all.
you're here.
This is like the bow. Everyone bow.
It's not Broadway, but we're trying here. Okay.
Guys, have a blast at No Kings tomorrow. Come by our you be safe. Maybe wear yellow. That seems to be the word these days. Wear a little, like an article of clothing that is yellow, as many nonviolent movements have done so in the past. And maybe come by our nonviolent movie tonight if you want to hang out on Discord with us. And we'll see you in the work ahead. Thank you so much, guys.
It's a great idea, Deanna. Thank you. Hand out yellow paper clips.
Nice.
Love that.
All right.
Good night.
You guys stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.